I think that the biggest challenges really began when I was 14. I was diagnosed with cancer at age 13, and my mom left when I was 14 years old. So my dad lost his job just after my mom had filed for divorce, and it left me in kind of a tough situation. I was battling my own illness as well as trying to care for my father and the house. And while we helped one another out, in some senses I became almost rebellious to it. When I went to alternative schools, it had a new influence on my life. So when I was 13, I got sent to a residential home, and I lived there for about a year. I was sent twice. I lived with girls from Bronx, Yonkers, Brooklyn, all these more impoverished areas. So these girls had a very different upbringing than myself. So I was exposed to fighting. I learned to defend myself very quickly when I was there, stealing and everything along those lines. Just, again, a very different lifestyle from my own. Prior to Raritan Valley, now I had gotten involved in a bad relationship, and after the first 6 months I was with him, it started to change. It became slightly abusive, and that slightly abusive turned into very abusive. And I just couldn't believe I was in this situation. The man that I loved for 3.5 years was doing to me what he knew others had done. When any human is in a situation where you need to survive, whether you're homeless, you're in a domestic violence situation, whether you have cancer, anything like that, you do what you have to do to live. There's no way around it. It's human instinct. If someone is going to stop you from breathing, you do what you got to do to breathe, whatever you can. It's like your antibodies, right? If you're sick, and they just instantly fight something off because it's instinct. It's what you do. When I came to Raritan Valley Community College, they were so incredible and so welcoming, and the assistant director brought me directly into the director of the Education Opportunity Fund's office. And they interviewed me, spoke with me briefly, and said, "You're in, welcome to the college." After the first semester, Danye, the director of the Education Opportunity Fund, asked me to be a mentor, and I was kind of taken aback because I hadn't been involved in anything. I guess I didn't see anything in myself because my self-esteem had been so destroyed from my past experiences. But that one position took me, it just changed me. The way that you think impacts everything in your life. So if you think negatively, like, oh, today's gonna be such a bad day, it's probably gonna be a bad day. If you think it's gonna be a good day, you're probably gonna have a good day. If you smile and you're happy, it makes everyone else around you happy, and it makes you happy. And I don't think there's anything better than that. And happiness is so important. It's your life, and I feel like my purpose is to be happy and make everyone else smile and find the joy in life, because if you look for it, it's there. It's always there. Every time there's a negative, there's a positive to it. There's always a lesson to walk away with.